like Rockstar to put in a customization to allow us to do all the stuff. Do you know, like do you know Need for Speed? Yeah. Why can't we do the same stuff as Need for Speed? Like do the turbo tuning, do the verbals. Do you know when the vehicle goes like this? Yeah. Why can't we do our own tuning? Why have it popping once when you can have it popping twice? That's what I would like when I downshift. I like to have the explosion going off twice, or even more than twice. So why can't Rockstar allow us to go into the custom shop, or even in Benny's, to allow us, or even the Maze Bank arena, to allow us to do basically in there. Why can't Rockstar allow us to do our own verbals to our own cars, doing the engine tuning on our own? And then if we do the engine tuning to the way that we like it, and the turbo tuning and all the verbals, we might be able to buy more cars. Because a couple of cars, I like some cars, but the reason why I sold them in the first place is because I didn't like the sound of the car. I just didn't like the sound of some cars. That's purely because we can't do our own customization, verbal, and turbo tuning and all of that. This car, nice, brilliant, I love this one, but why can't we tune it still? So I would like to have the explosion going off twice, like that, like it backfired twice, yeah, or even like 3 times, because you can do that all in real life. You can do the engine tunes, you can do the turbo, you can even do the engine. So why can't we do that in GTA? So it's not basic. I'm trying to basically say this is an option, Rockstar. I'm not trying to force this on you to basically do it, but I'm just saying it would be good to do some little things, like little things to the cars to allow us to do stuff like Need for Speed Heat, because we can tune on Need for Speed. We can do the engine tuning to the way that we like it. We can do the verbals like we like it on Need for Speed Heat, and we can also do anything to the cars on Need for Speed Heat. I understand GTA is not a racing game, understandable, but there are races in GTA. There are races, specific races for GTA. GTA is a mix between racing cars, and just free roam, because I'm in free roam. So basically, it isn't a racing game, understandable, I understand that, but little things like that would make some people happy, yeah? Because there's certain cars that I used to like at first, but the thing is, the reason why I sold them is because I couldn't, I didn't like the sound of the car. The car wasn't basically loud enough. And the only reason why I like this car is because it's fast. So, and it's also quite loud. I like to hear the car on my console. I just don't like to have electric cars. That's what I'm basically saying. Some cars on GTA, they're quiet. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. some cars on GTA, like the G-Wagon, some cars and the actual G-Wagons in real life, some of those G-Wagons are actually quite loud. But that thing over there is quiet. Okay, the G-Wagon is quiet. You can do engine exhaust, you can do exhaust pipes to make it louder. And basically all different types of stuff for it to make it louder. So why can't we do that? Like, you know, the engine tuning, the turbo, and all the other stuff, the transmission, like tuning it the way we like it. You know, we can do it fast shifting through the gears. We can do slow shifting. We can do medium. You know, you can shift through the gears. You can go fast. You can go slow, medium, and you know that's the same for the turbo. You can make the turbo go faster with certain upgrades, and you know, and same for the engine. You can put basically better pistons into the engine to allow it go faster. So things like that, you know, better pistons, better turbo, you know, faster turbos. You can make it go faster, make it go slower, and the same for the transmission. You can make it go fast, you can make it go slow, you can make the shifting go faster and faster, or you can make it go slower, medium. You know, you can just do stuff like that. And you know, there's a car that I like, but the only reason why I've still got it is because it is a good car, but the shifting and the power, it's not there. But the only reason why I've got it is because it's a real life car.
I'm Johnny on the spot. I'll hook you up.
Let me find it. So the only reason why I've still got this one specific car is because it's basically quite a good car, but the shifting and the power that delivers to the wheels, it's not there, if you will. So basically that is what I'm trying to say. This Bugatti, it should be 1500 horsepower. The 1500 horsepower, you know, La Bugatti, and the power on this thing is basically not there in my eyes. Yeah, it kicks and screams a little bit, but the power is not as crystal, if you like, as the real thing. I understand this is a game, but I know this car is a concept of the real thing. I understand that all as well, but you know, this is the closest I'm gonna get to Bugatti, and this is the closest I'm gonna get to a Bugatti, unless I work really hard on, you know, doing certain jobs that I like to do, like mechanics, and you know, maybe mechanics, maybe, you know, some other things I'm not gonna mention, but you know, so I don't know why Rockstar, and I've fully upgraded this, and you know what I do sometimes? I take some of the cars, not all of them, but some of them, to Los Santos Customs, or the custom shops, one of the custom shops, to see if they're fully upgraded. And the reason why I keep doing that is because sometimes I think the car is not fully upgraded because the power is not there. And I know it's not a real thing, and it is a concept of the real thing, but the power is not being delivered. You know, the quantities that we, my mates and everything want, if you like. And I bought all the turbos, all the transmission, and the engine, and it's still not powerful enough. So why don't Rockstar allow us to tune our cars and tune all the turbos and stuff? You know, allow us to shift through the gears faster for higher RPM. yeah, sometimes this kicks and screams, but sometimes it also boots it. But this car, I've drove this car so many times, you know, in the last maybe under 1 year, and I've drove this thing so many times, and I'm like, this car's so boring. And the only reason why I'm saying this car is boring is because it's slow. In my eyes, it's a little bit too slow. Not too slow, but a little bit. Like, this thing can put more power down, if you like, a little bit more. So this thing is quite slow. And you know, another 40 miles per hour, another 40 miles per hour would do. Because sometimes this cars, some of these cars on GTA, they're underpowered. They're underpowered, especially because of some cars, especially the Entity XXR. That's underpowered. That's way underpowered. That is like ridiculously underpowered. That car is the Entity XXR. That is a 274 miles per hour car, and the concept car, which is in GTA, won't even touch that. So why don't Rockstar allow us to pick out some upgrades, like the tuning, the turbo tuning, and the shifting of the gears? So I know I'm moaning a bit, and I know I'm moaning probably a little bit more for some people, but little things like this, allowing us to tune it like faster, like Need for Speed Heat,
some wheels? I can bring them
would
around.
be a little bit more, you know, entertaining, if you like, to drive around, especially in a certain car, which is the Entity XXR. I have actually got it in my garage, and this thing is underpowered, ridiculously underpowered. It's ridiculously underpowered. It's a 274 miles per hour car, and this thing don't even get up to nothing. It only gets up to like 100. This thing is ridiculously underpowered. I think the Ferrari Superfast is faster than this. The Ferrari Superfast, which is the Ferrari Superfast, is the Italian GTO, if you didn't know. So this thing is ridiculously underpowered. And I'm not moaning, Rockstar, but you could obviously put some new upgrades for this thing and some other cars to allow us to tune all of it. So, you know, I'm not moaning, but you know, some people are moaning, like my friends, some of my friends are moaning, because this thing is ridiculously underpowered. So, yeah, basically this thing is just way too slow. And I'm not moaning, it's not me that's moaning, it's my mate, one of my mates is moaning. He wanted me to put this in, and I would say this is underpowered. Yes, I would say yes, it is underpowered, and I would go to customs in a minute and show you that this thing is fully upgraded with every upgrade and every customization that will make it go a bit more, and this thing is underpowered still. And my mate basically bought this thing, the Italian, well, not the Italian, the LG XXR, and he sold it. He bought it, upgraded, customized for everything on this car, every option, to the point that he basically just left it as the customizations, something similar to what I've got at the minute, but he basically he did a different colour. But the thing is, he bought it, customized it for all the upgrades, all the stuff he wanted, and then a couple of minutes he sold it.
That should do the trick.
So level 4 engine, yeah, race transmission and turbo. Every upgrade is on this car and it can barely get up and go. Got race brakes so I can stop, obviously professional, and basically, you know, stop quite quickly, so I've put those on. But why is this car so slow? I don't know why, but you know, I was thinking about selling it. Legitly, I was thinking about selling this a couple of times, and the whole reason why I was thinking about selling it is because it's not four-wheel drive, because if it was four-wheel drive it would be faster, and second of all, it's slow at the moment. It's slow, and basically, I'm still thinking about selling it. I'm still thinking about selling this because this thing is still slow. If you crash and it costs over 400 grand, I was about to say. Then you basically know how to control it. You'll know how to control, but you crash it sometimes. But if it costs more than 6 grand, then you basically, it's a little bit too much power. But when it's under $100 repairs, then basically that means the whole car is a bit too slow. Really? Seriously? And as you can tell, I just got rammed up the backside on my Italian, well, not my Italian, I like my Italian GTR for some reason, on my Entity XXR. This thing's just way too slow, even at this speed. And the brakes, because of these cars up in front, I don't want to smash my car off even more, especially because some idiot ran me up the rear end. Even at the speed it's doing now, this thing is too slow. Sorry Rockstar, but this thing is just way too slow, and it needs to be tuned a little bit more. Why can't we do our own engine tuning, our own engine tuning, and basically all of our other turbo tuning and more pops? You know, when the engine pops, when the exhaust pops. Why can't we have more verbal? And you know, like I said, I'm thinking about selling this. But the only reason why I'm thinking about selling it is because, one, it's because it's underpowered. Second of all, we can't do no verbals like Need for Speed Heat. I know, understandable. Need for Speed Heat is basically a car game for just purely racing. But Why can't we have it in GTA still? And I've just realised, if I do a crawl, like I'm doing now, yeah, and if I go the other way in a minute, I've just found out that this car, specifically, if I do a crawl, yeah, I'm doing a crawl, and I boot it, it's got a delay, it's got like a 5-second delay, that the engine spazzes out, watch, well, put my foot down a little bit, and then I pull it all the way down, and then it has like a 5-second delay, and then it boots it, and then it's booting now. So, you know, I line it up with these lines, and I do a crawl. 1, 2. It's got like a 2-second delay. Well, probably a little bit more actually. Let's redo that again. I do a crawl. 1, 2, 3. It's got a 3 to 4-second delay on the acceleration before it gets up to top speed. And I've had this car for like what? Probably like nearly 4 years. Minimum of 4 years. Like it's coming up to it, if you like. It's coming to at least 4 years now. And this thing is, in my eyes, yeah, it's a little bit fast, but it can have a bit more done to it. Early car in GTA can have a bit more power to it. And, you know, if we're going to have more Benny cars, you know, I would like this car, the Italian, well not the Italian, the NTX XR and the T20, and make them like wide body kits, and have them like superchargers, and bigger engines in that, bigger turbo. Maybe even do an upgraded turbo, like a turbo upgrade, but instead of having one and just one single turbo, instead of putting one, just put two. Put 2 in, put 3 in, maybe put 4 in, put 4 turbos in on one engine, and make it go a bit more, because this thing might need a little bit more power behind it. And, you know, it has a delay, and, you know, some cars that I like, which is, I like this one. I did like it at some point, but, you know, it's got a delay on the acceleration. You know, it's got like a 4-second delay on the acceleration before it starts getting there, get up to the right RPMs and the right gear to get up to the top speed. Oh, hello. Okay. Whatever. I'll pay for it. So yeah, I think this thing needs a little bit more work. No offense, Rockstar, but I think this some cars that might need a little bit more work.
What brings you in today?
So yeah, I think some things on certain cars might need a little bit more work, especially this one. Especially the Entity XXR needs a bit more work. So when it pops in twice, that's the type of stuff that I like. When it goes pop pop twice. Oh, whatever. So yeah, I think this car needs a bit more work. And it sounds like the engine on that car that is going into the lift, it sounds like the engine's having trouble getting up to a certain RPMs, like 4,000, 4,000, 6,000. It sounds like the engine can't complement, you know, the RPMs. Complements means, in other words, it can't get up to the certain RPMs. It has to lay back, and then it gets up to certain RPMs when it basically, you know, when it feels like it, when the car feels like it. And this thing should be a Nissan GTR. This thing's not a Nissan GTR. You know, the 200 miles per hour. Yeah, this thing is not a Nissan GTR. It doesn't sound like it. Yeah, it sounds like it in a tunnel. Or is this the 2016 model? Because things like these type of cars, especially this one, needs an engine upgrade, needs a big engine upgrade. And I'll go to that customs and show, yeah, but this thing is maxed out on all the upgrades, just to prove a point. Because people say, oh, this thing hasn't got all the upgrades, you haven't shown us all the upgrades. So that's the level 4 engine look purchased. The transmission, race transmission, and turbo transmission, turbo. So practically no one can have a go at me that it has no turbo, which it does, and it has a race transmission and a level 4 engine, and this thing, you know, is supposed to be fast. It's a GTR, it's based off a Nissan GTR, and this thing can't even basically move. If I go from here, from these lights, and go down to this junction, and I'll basically let you know how many seconds this has got to get up to a certain speed. That took him around about, I don't know, 2 minutes. But the Nissan GTR, yeah, will basically get off the line in like 1.2. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, when it gets to 12 seconds, then it's up to an acceptable speed, acceptable. Like, I respect it, you know, the speed that it gets up to 12 seconds. It takes 12 seconds for this car to get up to a certain RPM. Go on then, Land Rover, Landy, whatever. Move your big bum. I was trying to keep it clean, keep it PG. I was gonna say something else, but I kept it clean. So certain cars that are on GTA, we don't need to have more cars on GTA in my experience, but we just need more engine and turbo and transmission upgrades, and maybe even a couple of supercharged, maybe a couple of super transmissions, understandable. This car is acceptable because this car is pretty good. Well, it's a pretty old car. It's a pretty old car, but this thing, even for an old car, basically it's quite underpowered as well. But I basically would respect this car anyway. And I just realised as soon as I put my foot down a little bit, it just boots right off. So I haven't been on GTA for like probably like a couple of days, so I forgot how this car drives. But obviously I'm back on now. So when I boot it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, when it gets to 14 seconds, 14 to 15 seconds, then that is an respectable speed in my eyes. That's the type of speed that could be on some of the other cars, like instant. As soon as you put your foot down, as soon as it's the green light, you just put your foot down. So, you know, why can't Rockstar allow us to do engine upgrades, of all the sorts of engine upgrades to our cars, to allow them to deliver more power to the ground? That is basically what this video is about. Would like more cars, but some of the other cars on GTA already, they're not really delivering the power that is necessary to basically allow people to have races and that. Because some of these cars, I'm not gonna go through all of the cars that are bugged, but if you want me to go through all the cars that have understeer or underpower, then basically that thing over there, that thing in the corner, is definitely not underpowered. It's basically some other cars, and neither is this. This thing is not underpowered. It is basically just a little bit too powerful for some people, but for me it's just right. So some of these other cars, like this thing here, is underpowered. That thing here is way too underpowered, and then all of these cars that you see have got fully upgradable engine mods. Look at my bank account. I've got 38 mil and 800 and 500,000, so I'm not a cheapskate. So why can't Rockstar allow us to do stuff like this? Allow us to have our own tuning, our own engine tuning. And this car has got all the upgrades. Look, it's got engine tuning, turbo, transmission, and it's got the level 4 engine. And this thing can barely, I did say very barely, get up to speed. It's a nice sounding car. It's not the sound, it's just the power. It's the power that's behind the wheel. It's not always there on some cars. And some cars you have to wait for like a whole century for it to get up to speed. And it's not really, I'm did say it's not really acceptable from a supercar or a sports car. And it's not, acceptable from Rockstar from not allowing us to do stuff like this, engine tunes and stuff, and all different types of upgrades that we could do ourselves, like Need for Speed, Heat, and playback. And you know, why can't we see? Well, why can't Rockstar allow us to see despite the speed, aka what speed we're going up? We got it on PC, but not on Xbox, neither on PlayStation. So that, in a way, Rockstar, I'm not trying to be rude or nasty, but because we haven't got no speed monitor on the dash, on this side of the screen, where the exhaust pipes are at, pointing at. Why can't we have a speed monitor on the side here, where the exhaust pipes are basically going off? So why can't we have even when we inside the office garage? It says when you push down on the D-pad once, it tells you the name and the speed and the traction and all of that. Why can't we still horsepower? Why can't we see horsepower like 200, 400, 600, 200, you know, and stuff like that, 250, 450, 500, 1000. Do you know when it says these little things of right above there? Yeah, these little black tabs. Why can't we see how much horsepower these cars have got? Acceptable, it's a game, I know that, I can tell it is a game, but why can't we see how much horsepower these things have got? Because there's a couple of my friends, yeah, they're asking of how much. I wonder how much some of these cars have got as power. I wonder how much power these things have got. And basically, my mates, I'm like, mate, I don't know, mate. You know, if I knew, I would tell you. But some of these cars don't even tell you how much horsepower these things have got, which is basically, you know, it should be changed. I'm sorry, Rockstar, but some of these things, you know, especially because of the performance of some of the cars. I did a car a couple of months ago, like 2 to 3 months ago. There was a car that I basically did a review on. Well, not a review, but you know, Rockstar's trying to make sure Rockstar knows about this one specific car that I liked, but the power was not there. So let me just pull up that specific car on Legendary. So this car, if you check out, I think it was my last video, my last one. This car does not have any power to it, depending if I can find it. Oh my god, am I fast already? So this one specific car does not have an efficient amount of power behind it. It's $2 million, practically 2 mil, and this thing does not have an efficient amount of power that is behind it. It is slow. A snail could beat this, a snail, and a snail only costs like what, nothing, and this thing is 2 mil. So why basically put that as car as 2 mil for that specific car and the performance? That car the price of that car is very steep for some people. Did say for some people, but that price tag is quite steep. Not for everybody, not for me because I've got that much. But you know, it's for some people, like for some people of my mates, and that price tag is quite steep. Yeah, and some of my mates won't even buy it. because I basically showed them how bad it is, and they basically didn't want to be on live stream, so they basically about it. So they basically just said, leave it, you know, let me just try the vehicle out and let's see how bad it is. And like I say, there's different cars have different amounts of power. Like this thing, this you know X80, this X80 Proto has a lot of power. Then there's other cars that have a very short, a very light amount of power. So it's like up down with the power on each and every car. Why have up and down when you can have fairly the same? Yeah, why have, you know, different amounts of power on each car when you can, you know, see if you can get to the same amounts? Because some cars I've got that are slow. Some of them are meant to be slow. But supercars and sports cars, some of them are supposed to be quite fast. And more money you pay for a specific car, then that car is going to have much more power. This car specifically has a lot of power that's behind it. Oh, hello. Hi, greetings to you too. Wow, I didn't see you, mate. And I didn't see that coming. I thought I was going to squeeze around that corner and basically bolt off into the underneath that bridge. But you know, some cars are a bit too powerful sometimes, but some other cars are quite slow when they're meant to be quite fast. So why basically have an uneven, I did say an uneven power, you know, ratio? Why have the power up that side and have the power down that side? Why do you have, you know, ups and down of power on each car? Oh, hello. I thought I was going to brake, but you know, consequently I didn't. But certain cars, like the Entity XXR, the power's low on that. It's quite low. But on the X80 Proto, it is high. It's a high performance car. It is a high performance vehicle. It is practically it's a V10, twin turbo, 4-wheel drive, no less. 4 wheels, all 4 wheels work together. And if you didn't know, I'm actually going to show you. This, I think this is the reason. This is the whole reason why the X80 Proto is fast. This is the whole reason. That's the whole reason why the X80 Proto is fast. Because of that. That is the whole reason why it's a bit too fast for some people. So, now you understand a little bit of why the X80 Proto is fast. the power is even between each wheel. That is the reason, that is the sole reason why the X80 Proto is basically fast. So if you could put this 4-wheel drive system on every car, the whole, or every single car is going to be faster and faster. But I did say but, the only reason why some cars are slow is because the rear wheel drive, the rear wheel drive, like the Entity XXR, that is rear drive. That is rear drive, if you didn't know. And that thing is this thing here. This thing right here. This thing is slow. What's this? Look how much tyre marks I have virtually burnt just because I put my foot down. And this is my proof that this thing is a rear drive. You ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Is this wheel moving? Is it moving? Does not like it. Is this one moving? Does not like it. Is this one still not moving? Nope. Is this one still not moving? Nope. That is the reason why the Entity XXR is slow. That is the reason why I think it's slow. It's because the X80 Proto has not just one axle, but it has 2 axles having the power separated between the 2 axles. Like it has power to the back axle on the X80 Proto and also the front. But this only has power to the back axles. It only has power to one axle, and that is the reason why it is underpowered, because the one axle is not pulling, it's not doing enough, basically not enough power to the ground. But if you had the front axle, putting its back into it, if you like, and putting some power to the ground, then basically everybody will be buying this car, depending if the back axle and the front axle both have power to the ground. That is what would make this faster. And I've just literally burnt half my tread. Like a good 2 miles of tread there is on the ground, all because I boosted it. And think about it, this car would not do burnouts like that in real life. This car is 4-wheel drive. It's 4-wheel drive in real life. Both axles, the back axles in real life are working, and so is the front ones. And in real life, it is the V10 twin turbo. And this thing is the size is this thing. It might as well be a freaking V2, well a V4, like a 4-valve turbo charged engine, because this thing is not fast. This thing might as well be a 4-valve twin turbo supercharged Koenigsegg instead of a 4-blown Koenigsegg. Yeah, it moves. It does move quite. I did say quite, but not fast to the point that I would like to go. It is quite fast, but not to my satisfaction. AKA, not as the way I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be faster. I thought it was going to have more horsepower, and I thought it was going to be 4-wheel drive. Or 4 wheels drive, 4 wheels on the ground, burning tarmac, and basically going like the X80 Proto, but consequently Rockstar didn't do it. And now practically everybody's moaning about this car being underpowered. So, you know, is Rockstar gonna fix it, or they're just gonna leave it and just bring a DLC, especially for, you know, Benny Customs as sports cars and supercars, and just make them just fix it that way? Because one way or the other, this thing is just slow. My mate said once, the one vehicle that could probably beat this is my Nan's scooter. That's what he said. My Nan's scooter is faster than this thing. This thing right here, this vehicle that's sitting right there, that thing right there is that thing. Yeah, basically, that could race against my Nan's scooter, and then that thing would lose, and my Nan's scooter would win. That's what he said. Next thing would lose, and my Nan's scooter would have victory. He said that's how slow it is. So he's been saying multiple times that this car, this one that's sitting right there, is slow. It's a Bonanza scooter, it's got more horsepower, and it's got more torque and more grip onto the ground. And, you know, and basically said that that thing right there was pulling into the garage, that Entity XXR, he said it's hella slow. My Nan's scooter can beat it. That's what he literally said. That thing right on the turntable, if you like. You know, he said that's way too slow. And it also might be a bit too low onto the ground as well. I understand that car that's sitting over there, this thing right here, understandable. This is quite an old car in GTA specifically, but I understand that this thing is underpowered. This thing has quite a bit more power. This thing, I'd say I'd have 600 horses, 650, and then that thing right there would have around about, I don't know, around about 600, and then that third thing over there would only have about 400 horses. I think this only has 450 horses, so that's got 600, that's got 850, that first one. That one's got 850. This one's got like 600, maybe 400. And then that thing's only got like maybe 250. To be fair, I think it's got around about 300 horsepower in my 350. And that thing is basically got 400 to 400, 450, something like that. And that's got around about 800 horses. and you know, it seems a bit composite, if you like, that that thing is slower. That thing is the new car. This one right here is the brand. It's practically brand spanking new. It's practically brand spanking new. Then there's that one, which is basically the oldest one is over there. Then it's the next youngest, and then it's the brand spanking new one. So that oldest one over there is faster than both of these guys. In my respects, I think that thing right over there, that one car specifically, this one specific car is faster than both of these two. That one and that one. These two are practically slow. These two are practically slow to that thing, or basic that thing over there would leave these two behind in my eyes, because these things are really, these two things over here, they're really underpowered, but that thing over there is just right. But these two, no, underpowered. That's what I think in my eyes. I don't think this is underpowered. I think it's got a little bit underpower, but it hasn't got a lot. Similar to that, to be fair, but it does have. It has more potential in it. This thing right here has more potential. That thing over there has the best potential out of the three. But that thing over there has got the best potential. This thing has more potential behind it, but Rockstar won't allow it. And same for this. This thing has way more potential than any of these guys, but the Rockstar won't allow the potential to be out on GTA. This is a 272 miles per hour car, and this thing doesn't even get off the line, and it should be 4-wheel drive. But you know, this other one over here, I think this one over here, this one over here has more power than than those other two. These two have less power. That one has more. So that's what I think in my eyes. So this needs a serious upgrade. That thing that is in the corner, this thing here needs a little bit of an upgrade, and that could do with an upgrade, but not, you know, it's not desperate type of upgrade. It doesn't need to be desperate. But that thing, this thing right here is definitely desperate. It is definitely desperate for an upgrade.
What she need then?
From Rockstar.
Anything
This thing
I can
needs
do?
it. This
Anything
thing
at all?
needs quite a bit of an upgrade.
Look after yourself.
That one specifically. Because this thing, yeah, it should be 273 miles per hour, and this thing is slow. So I don't know if Rockstar is going to basically listen to this video, but you know, I could try, you know. And this Cold Cat D10, I think this has a little bit more potential behind it. It could do with it. It could do with a little bit more potential, but you know, that's up to Rockstar. And why does it do? But every time when this thing sets off, why does this thing do burnouts everywhere? I know it's a supercar or like a sports. Okay, it's a sports. I know it's a sports car. Understandable, it's a sports. But why does it have to do burnouts? Why can't you just ease into the power like this, and then just like slowly climb the RPMs, save a bit of rubber and then boot it afterwards. Or can't Rockstar have just done that as a program so it doesn't spin out like traction control, if you like. So, you know. And I think this has more potential behind it. And this thing is also upgraded, but you know, it needs a bit more power behind it. In my eyes, it needs a bit more power. This thing is quite sleek, quite underpowered. I'm not gonna go through the others. I'm only gonna go do one, maybe two cars, and then I'll basically go off the live stream. But you know, some of these cars have got really quite a bit of power has been taken away from the vehicle, but Rockstar haven't allowed us to have the full potential of the car. Understandable, because sometimes the loading screens and that, but you know, allow us to have this power a little bit. It's got level 4 engine that, so you can't run at me for not putting engine mods on it. And race transmission, and also turbo, and this thing is still quite slow. So I don't know what to tell you. And I think that's still quite underpowered. This thing is quite underpowered, especially the torque and that. Oh, which one next? Let's go to the blue dots, see if there's anything else upstairs. Nah. So yeah, if some of these cars had a little bit of a tune, and a little bit of an upgrade, and a little bit of work from Rockstar, then some of these cars would be faster and better than than they were before. Okay, which one should I do? That thing, the Tempesta, is a beautiful car. So is the Santorno. What is this one like again? Like I say, I haven't been playing GTA for a couple of weeks. Maybe like a week. I haven't been playing it because I've been stressed out. So it's not my fault for being stressed out. Being a little bit stressed. Yeah, this thing has a little bit under par. The power's quite sharp though. It comes practically instantly. As soon as you put your foot down, it's there. Takes a second though. Takes a second for the power to get to the wheels, but takes a second or so. I might go into one of my other garages and see if I can find out what else I've got. I might go to my assistants and see what else I've got. So that card I just pulled out, that thing does have a little bit, ever so slightly a little bit of underpower but you know, never know. You can't really notice that much because it just gets up to speed a little bit more than it a little bit more. Oh, I want to know a
Looking
car
good,
that I
boss.
could get out.
Hello there. How can I help you? I guess you get a collection
I
like
even
this
know which
when you're
garage
the
it's
majority
in.
shareholder. No problem. Your personal vehicle's on its way.
This car, the Toyman's, it's quite decently underpowered. I'm not really moaning about this one, but you could, well, Rockstar could have put it as 4-wheel drive to fix it. If this thing was basically like the X80 Proto, then it would have fixed it. It's just power is not being, you know, shared out between the axle. That it could have put more power down if it was similar to the X80 Proto, 4-wheel drive. But this thing's rear drive, and yeah, it does get up to speed quite quickly. But you know, I like a little bit more sharper than that. And why can't Rockstar allow us to do throttle, like, you know, like speed throttle, responses, like, you know, make this response for the engine a little bit more, you know, active. So instead of having a delay, then if you had basically a throttle response kit, if you like, if you really want that, if you really think that, then it'll basically put more power down a bit more quicker. A throttle kit to see if you can improve the throttle, share the throttle out and that. And this is rear drive. Also, I did say also rear drive. And if this is 4-wheel drive, you know, it would have been a lot better. The throttle response would have been fixed. The speed would have been fixed. And you can tell the wheel is not moving, the front wheel. Only move on, I'll move it back and forward though.
What's wrong with her now?
It's just the throttle response on this thing for some cars. It's not
All
responding.
patched up.
You know, it takes a couple of minutes for it to take action. So that's level 4 engine, as you can tell. So that's the highest you can go for the engine. And also the transmission. And turbo. So that is upgraded. It's been upgraded since I had it. And I practically hated it since I had it, which was around about a couple of months ago. Oh. Move out of my way. And I'll actually show you in a little bit of light that this thing is just rear drive. And it's no cap. I'll basically do that just to make sure that basically people don't what you call it, say rumours and stuff. Oh, it's 4-wheel drive. Oh, okay, mate. Alright. Doesn't look four-wheel drive to me. And what does that one axle keep locking up? I put it on the XXR as well. That axle keeps locking up, that one side keeps locking up. Why, and why Rockstar, why do some cars, like that car that I've literally just returned to storage, why do some cars like that have the axles, sometimes the axles just lock up,
I'm on
and
the
then it
clock.
has
What
to,
you
and
want?
the
Some wheels?
engine has to put more power down just to compensate.
It's on the way.
Rockstar, like I say, like I've been saying for the last couple of months, maybe even a couple of extra more months than that, maybe like a year now. You're my favourite company. You do my favourite game. You made my favourite game. But sometimes with certain things like these, certain little things, is basically just sometimes stupid, and that you wouldn't think of doing it, but now you're getting feedback from it all. And if you want to know why I'm putting this out, is because this thing is underpowered as well. Yeah, understandable, this is a rear drive Mustang. Yeah, but it's underpowered. I'll show you how to rear drive. I think all the people, I think all the some people know. And what does that axle keep locking up? What does that axle keep locking up? Is the power just going to this one wheel and not to that side? What is going on? My heart acceleration. That wheel's spinning. Put that one in. And I'll line it up. So it's more that way. Oh, locks up. That wheel was basically burning out. That one in. So I think that Rockstar basically had the power go into this side first, this back one. The power was going to this one first, and then the power is basically locking up on this side. It's locking up. Locking up means, in other words, the power is not getting to the wheel. That's what I'm basically trying to say. That the power is not getting to the wheel efficiently. But this thing is also underpowered as well. And I just crashed it. Yay. I think the old Dominator is faster than this. Old fashioned Dominator is faster than this.
A miracle model did you want me to
That
perform?
thing is a 2020. It practically is a 2021
Better than new.
Ford, practically a 2020 Ford Mustang, and it's supposed to be one of the fastest and one of the most reliable Ford Mustangs that are out there to date, and this thing is not even fast. And why do you have to have all of these exhaust pipes, Rockstar? Some of these exhaust pipes, well, from there downwards, it's all ridiculous. Ridiculous. All of these are so practically so stupid in these exhausts. The ones that I like is them ones. And why couldn't you do these exhaust pipes in titanium? Why not do it? Race transmission, the highest one on there, and also turbo. Alright, so it's got engine, turbo and transmission. It's got it all. Yeah, and like I say, understandable. This is a Ford Mustang. It's supposed to be a Ford Mustang, but it's underpowered still. Underpowered means it just needs more horsepower. It needs a couple of extra stuff to make it go faster. And to be fair, I don't really mind about paying a little bit extra to make it go faster. I don't really mind. It's not paying for it, it's basically just getting the upgrade and allowing Rockstar allowing us to have the opportunity to push the cars further. And you know, some people would message and also call a Rockstar about certain situations like this, and Rockstar wouldn't answer the phone, and they don't even answer the emails. I've emailed Rockstar, you know, I've gave them a list of cars, you know, the ones that I think that are underpowered, and basically haven't had enough power, you know, put to the ground, and basically they just don't talk to you back. They don't talk back to you. They don't basically say hi so and so, you know, we have seen your concerns and we'll look into it. That is basically all they say. They don't say anything else. It looks like a computer is basically doing all of the emails. It's not a person.
That should do the trick.
So why is Rockstar being lazy and not allowing people to talk to an actual person about this? Because some of these cars are underpowered. Yeah, understandable.
Oh, hey,
It's a
Rainbow.
Ford Mustang, but it hasn't got as much power as the old Dominator in my eyes. I think the old Dominator has more power than that thing that's just been returned.
You're through to your garage. You, need me to bring you a ride?
So this Dominator right here
I'll bring it by.
is one I'm on about. This is the Dominator that I think has just enough power to it. Not too subtle and not too much. Really? And even this car can do drifts and stuff around corners. because it has the power to do the corner and also do a drift around a corner.
I'm guessing you don't want a back rub. How can I help?
And the back row.
Okay, my friend. I'll take care of the LSPD. Leave it to me.
But like I say, this thing has power behind it. It sounds great. It delivers the power out great. But the other Mustangs, the other GT, the Dominator GTX, that thing is basically slow in my eyes. And you get on some of these cars, you've got to get a white RPMs to do the corner. Oh, I just got to clip that pole. You need to get the right RPMs and the right angle to do the corner. Because if you don't get the right RPMs or the right speed, if you like, then you're not going to get around it. You're not going to get around the corner. And that was my fault. That one was brilliant. What? Really? That was a bit fail. That corner was brilliant. So was that one. Apart from that little bit of a bun. But if I try and do this, in the Ford Mustang GTX, then the Dominator GTX won't do it as great as this. Oh shoot. In some cars, you need to get the right power and the right RPM and the right speed all at once. So sometimes drifting the car, you know, every now and then is tricky. That corner was beautiful. See how clean that corner was. That corner was clean. Really? Goodbye, bye, goodbye. Say goodbye. like the sound of the turbo on this. I like the sound of the turbo as it keeps spinning. Really? So if I go into my arcade, which is where the Dominator GTX is located, I'll see if I can go in here and close my door. Pull out the Dominator GTX. And obviously, perfect, it's raining. With this car, you can't even drift it. You have to swing it out. What I mean by swing, I mean you have to I'll do it slow motion. You have to turn that way into the other lane for a little bit and then swing it around that. Or something similar to that. That's what sometimes you gotta do with some of these cars. Because this thing, if it hasn't got enough power, then you would need to go into the other lane a little bit just to swing it round. So I'll do it down here and see if I can do it with so I can get around pick up so. Wow, that was fucking left me behind. Okay, if I try and do it in one lane, it fails, I have to hit a pole and that. But if I go into the other, little bit more spacious, and then push it out, you know, and let me go down here actually, might have a bit more room. So if I go into the other lane, a little bit, wow, let me go down here and see if I can find some space. If I'm in this lane, and I go into the other lane a little bit in a minute, does it quite good look? Because you've got to swing at the nose and then bring it round again. And that third race was pretty okay, but as you can see, I went out into the other lane a little bit and then swung it around. I know some of these cars aren't for drifting, but you know, sometimes my mates like to go onto the streets of LA or Los Angeles, if you will, and do some drifting competitions. And he said, my mate said, basically one of you gets a Dominator GTX, and I'm like, Dominator GTX? The Dominator GTX is underpowered. It hasn't got an efficient amount of power that is behind it. So I don't know why Rockstar put that into the game, because it hasn't got enough power behind it. There's not an efficient amount of downforce for the turn as well. So I think I might be selling this. If Rockstar don't do nothing to this, and probably one of the other cars, I think the what you call it, the Tyrus, that's the car. If Rockstar doesn't do nothing for these two cars, the Tyrus, and the other cars that I've complained about, if they don't do nothing, I'll probably be selling them. I'm thinking about selling most of the cars, or even a couple of them, because there's no point having a certain car that can't do certain maneuvers that I like to do. I like to go around drifting a car, sometimes, in like my armoured Karuma. I like to go drift that and drive it around. That does drifts quite good. It's not bad, it's not good either. It depends on the driver. And it depends on the driver how much the driver knows the car. And that's also probably one of the other things. If the driver knows it inside and out, aka the car, that is, then the car's performance is going to be a lot better than it was. But a lot better, if you like. Okay, then I'm gonna go, because you know, I want to play with my friends, and my friends are trying to get to me to try and talk to me and get on GTA and that. So, and they want to have a chat, and they possibly want to chat, and maybe even play an extra play some GTA with them. But anyway, I'm gonna let you go, because I'm getting depressed because of this video, purely because some of these cars are just way too slow and way too can't do certain maneuvers which I would normally do with some of these cars, and some of these cars are just a bit too underpowered and understeered. Alright, and then I'm gonna go and I want to join a party and talk to my mates. See you in a bit. Bye, bye, bye.